Are you struggling? Are you struggling with what, you might ask? Are you struggling with your hair? In this video, I will share some tips with you as to how you can manage your hair struggle and still be happy no matter what. A lot of times, all of us, at some point in time, we struggle with our hair. And if you have been watching my channel for a while now, you know that I've been struggling a lot with the middle section of my hair. And so I've been trying to get that hair under control. It has improved somewhat, but it's still a struggle and it is still a concern to me. So perhaps you too are struggling with some aspect of your hair. So I want you to know that you are not alone, and I am always here to give hair care tips and also to share my own struggle that I am now coping with. So I had my hair wrapped in the night, and this is how it is looking. Usually when I wrap my hair in the night, in the morning before I comb it down, I might use some of this oil, or I might use some of my grapeseed oil, and I just had a tad bit into my hand and then rub it together and apply it just around just before I comb it down so I can add a little bit of sheen. So maybe you are struggling with hair breakage. Perhaps one part of your hair is longer than the other. I know that many persons struggle with that, where one section of their hair, like one side of their hair, is long, and while the next section of the hair is like it is not growing. If you're struggling with hair breakage, right, find out why is it that your hair is breaking. So before you get all jittery or concerned, just calm down and find out what exactly is causing your hair to break, because in some instances it could really be that maybe your hair is over protein, or it could be over moisturized. So in any one of these situations, it could really cause your hair to break. And so you want to find that balance between protein and moisture on your hair so that you can control the amount of breakage that you possibly could have on your hair. So for you to do that, you have to get to know your hair. You need to know your hair elasticity and your hair porosity. Those two characteristics are very important for you to know. If you would like to know these two characteristics, I do have a video on my channel that talks about that. So if you want to learn more about that, then you can always go and check out that particular video. So if you're able to get those two things under control, then of course you definitely will have your hair breakage under control. Another thing too that can cause hair breakage is actually split ends. So a lot of times we refuse, or we don't want to trim our ends because we feel that if we trim our ends, then our hair is not going to grow, and so we try to refrain from trimming our ends. So I want to encourage you to get your ear ends trimmed. It doesn't need to be blunt, as I had mentioned previously in another video. If you want to go and watch that video also, it don't necessarily have to be blunt. Just ensure that your ends are in good shape, and that too will help to minimize the hair breakage significantly. Another thing that can cause us to struggle with our hair care regimen is stress. Now, as you know, when we are stressed, it really takes a real toll on our body, and so we want to ensure that we are managing our stress properly. Now, you might say, how am I going to manage my stress? But keep in mind that stress is really a part of our life, but it doesn't need to take over our life. So that's a total difference. All right. So your body is working perfectly fine if at times you feel stressed or feeling down. That's very normal. But what is not normal is when that stress now takes over our life to the point where we're unable to even care for ourselves properly. In managing your stress, your diet also comes in play. So what you decide to include in your diet is going to significantly affect how you manage your stress, right? Remember that stress also has to do with our brain. So how we look at situations, how we think about situations can also impact us negatively. So we want to ensure that we're drinking up our water, we are eating up our fruits, and we are having a balanced intake, especially for us as females. We want to ensure that our diet includes fiber so that we can have a nice digestive movement. As you may know or may not know, in our intestine we have good bacteria and we also have bad bacteria. Now, I'm not sure if you have ever heard about the bacteria that is called Candida, but if you have heard about that, you would know that this bacteria is a bad bacteria, and if it develops too much in our body, if we have too much of that bad bacteria in our body, then it can impact on our body negatively. It can cause us to feel depressed, it can cause us to start losing our hair and all of that. So we want to ensure that we are feeding our good bacteria. So what we really want in our gut is to make sure that we have more of the good bacteria and less of the bad bacteria, because they both work together to balance out everything, but we must ensure that we have more of the good bacteria than the bad bacteria, and that too can help us to manage our stress properly. Another thing too, if you're on certain kinds of medication, those too can affect your hair, and so you might end up struggling with your hair. But think about it, our hair is external, right? And we want to ensure that internally we are okay. So if you're on a medication that is going to help you to keep healthier and it affects your hair, just one thing that we will have to take into consideration for the overall health. Just keep in mind that once you're off this medication, then you can go ahead and focus on getting back your hair in tip-top shape. But remember that the internal organs are way more important than the hair on our head. And so if you're on a medication that affects your hair, I am encouraging you not to feel down or feel depressed or feel stressed because of it. Just remember that you're on a journey and this is where you are in your journey, and once you're off that medication, then you'll have the opportunity to focus more on your hair and to get back your hair in tip-top shape. So don't worry about that. Just do what you have to do, even if it affects your hair. Once you get over it, your hair will come back, and you can change your diet, you can add things to your diet just to help with the overall process. For others too, it could be a case where they have been diagnosed with a sickness such as cancer, that we know that its treatment that they do for cancer in some instances can really affect our hair to the point where we have no hair. So if you are struggling at this time with that, I am encouraging you, stay positive and not focus on the hair that is going to fall out. What I've seen some people do is to actually remove the entire hair, just trim it off and wear a wig. No, that is not easy to tell somebody who has lost their hair that, be happy, wear a wig and you'll be fine. But if you are watching this video, I just want you to know that it is not the end of the world, and what is more important is to keep you alive. So do what you need to do in order to stay alive, and in the meantime, wear a wig so you can feel beautiful just the same. So that's a struggle that some persons perhaps might be facing right now. Maybe it's not you, but maybe you know someone who's actually struggling with that particular situation now. So just know that your hair at this point is not more important. What is more important is going to be your life, and if you live, your hair will grow back and you will be just fine and happy. Others, they might struggle with the fact that they are getting older, and because they are getting older, then their hair is no longer the same as when they were young. They may feel that why even bother have a hair care regimen when my hair is already changing. So what I want to keep in mind is that, as mentioned earlier, dieting, eating the right food, doing your exercise and taking your regular intake of your water can actually change that for you. So yes, with age come changes to our body, and changes will include changes to our hair. So yes, when you were younger, maybe in your 20s or even your teens, your hair was nice and full and it was nice and thick and you were loving it and you were happy. As you get older, perhaps 35, you start to head into your 40s and 50s, you find that your hair is changing, and so you're struggling maybe just to accept that yes, my body is changing and so is my hair, and my hair is no longer the way it once was. But that is okay. Just remember that you still have some amount of control over that by just changing your diet and including different foods in your diet, and actually eliminating certain foods in your diet can actually change the way how your hair is. So yes, your hair will change as you get older, and that is normal. But you can do something about that just by changing your diet. For example, my hair looks nice and healthy, but I'm telling you that it is far from perfect. And I have my days too when I struggle to accept that, hey, your hair is not perfect. And yes, the overall picture of it looks nice and good, but there are days when you feel just the same. So don't feel that you're alone in feeling the struggles of hair care. You are definitely not alone. And always remember that your hair is only a part of you. It is not the total you. So with your hair or without your hair, you are still fabulous. So continue to love yourself. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give the video a like. And don't forget to share the video with someone else who you think would benefit from the information in this video. And if you have watched 1 or 2 of my video and you have not yet subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.